Hi, Scott Orlin with CINEMA-Magazin. The movie Alien Covenant, the actor Michael Fassbender, and Michael Fassbender. He was so good in Prometheus, you had to come back and do two characters in this one. Congratulations. Talk a little bit about, we were introduced to David in Prometheus, and now we have Walter. As an actor, how did you totally differentiate their temperament, their tone?
Well, it was helpful because, David I had established in Prometheus, and I knew what he was about. I had the characteristics of that character, and I knew he was going to be, in this one, it's been 10 years since we last saw him, so a lot of the elements that he had, part of him, that doesn't even make sense, a lot of his characteristics were going to be ramped up. They were going to be, he was going to be a lot more human and a lot more unpredictable. So that was cool. I had a very expressive character with him and a very theatrical character. So I knew with Walter I was going to just do the opposite. I was going to have something that was very neutral, sort of bland and expressionless for a lot of it, so that the audience could actually then just project what they wanted onto him.
And looking at David, I had a strange correlation of Dr. Frankenstein. He wanted to create life. He wanted to create, and just like Dr. Frankenstein, your monster can be unpredictable.
Yeah. There's a lot going on with him. I had a lot of sort of references myself, which I can't really say because it'll give away what he is. But that's, that there's an unhingedness to him. He hasn't had any maintenance. That's key to the way he's sort of behaving a little bit. There's I don't want to say too much, though.
And what about in your own life growing up, what were the monsters that you kind of had? Because people are going to see these movies and be terrified and have nightmares. What were the ones that kind of left impressions on you?
I guess this one, Jaws, The Omen, and The Exorcist. Although The Exorcist I saw much later. Also, for sure, Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
And both David and Walter are artificial intelligence, and we're starting to see now in our lives more introduction to this artificial intelligence, yes, whether it be our smartphones or just microwaves even, so to speak. How much do you want that to kind of be introduced to your life?
I don't think about it too much. I'm not very good in terms of manipulating technology and all of the sort of great tools that it has given us. I'm pretty sort of backward when it comes to it, but I appreciate it. But yeah, I think it's moving so fast that wait and see what happens. But I'm already so far behind. I'm not going to catch up now.
And I don't know what's curious, but at the very beginning of the movie, at the prologue, you sit at the piano and you play a nice little Wagner piece. How much was that you really playing?
You could see. You could see. That was me. Clearly. I could play the opening of it. I learned as much as I could. I had the flute scene and the Wagner scene. I don't play the piano, so it's an instrument that I've always, admired and would love to play. I played piano accordion a bit. But that's me up to a certain point.
And I want to talk to you about Ridley Scott. Obviously, you worked with Steve McQueen a couple of times, but what is it about a director like that? He's so practical on set. He wants to have his actors interacting with the elements around. So I know a lot of the creatures were actually there on set. How much does that enhance your performance?
Definitely does, and it's a luxury nowadays to have that, but it absolutely helps. And it's just fun to interact with the world like that. And I think he really loves just seeing that world himself and being able to shoot it. It's just, infinitely more interesting.
And a last question for you. Obviously, I don't think you're going to go into space anytime soon, but you were born in Germany. So maybe, do you ever get back there? Do you still have roots for Germany?
I do. I was back there, when was I there? About 3 months ago, I think, to see my great aunt. So yeah, I get back there to see my relatives as much as I can.
Are there certain things to Germany that you need, tangible food or elements?
Yeah, I love sauerkraut and schnitzel. Technically, that could be Austrian, though, isn't it? But my dad makes these things when I get home. They're called Krautkrapfen, and they're sort of like it's a thin pastry, and he puts sauerkraut in there and like bits of bacon. And they're delicious. You fry them in the pan.
Well, Michael, as always, thank you so much. And if any of you in Germany want to have Michael over for dinner with Krautkrapfen, he'd be love to have it.
there.
And this is Scott Orlin. Until next time.
Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Always such a pleasure.